Doesn't end with the Tea Party Nation. Doesn't end with Mike Huckabee. Here's Representative Louie Gohmert. Apparently, 36, I think it was. Anti-gun control. 31 so-called pro-gun rights senators coming up into the new Congress were invited on David Gregory's Meet the Press this weekend. None of them showed. What do you think the average occurrence of one of those 31 senators getting invited to a weekend talk show on a major network, how often do you think they reject that? Once in a lifetime? Maybe? Never? All 31 of those so-called pro-gun senators rejected it. Louie Gohmert, whatever his name is, from Texas, goes on Fox News, and this is what he had to say.
Every mass killing of more than 3 people in recent history has been in a place where guns were prohibited. These guns, except for one, they choose this place. They know no one will be armed. You know, having been a judge and having reviewed photographs of these horrific scenes and knowing that children have these defensive wounds, gunshots through their arms and hands as they try to protect themselves, and hearing the heroic stories of the principal lunging, trying to protect Chris. I wish to God she had an M4 in her office locked up, so when she heard gunfire, she pulls it out, and she didn't have to lunge heroically with nothing in her hands, but she takes him out, takes his head off before he can kill those precious kids.
Now, we are to believe that the principal in this case, I don't know if it's just a principal, I don't know how many people Louie Gohmert would want to train in a school to shoot in an environment such as this. I mean, we know there was that shooting in New York City where the cops shot a guy and bullets went everywhere. So you need to train them more, of course, than this guy who was brought to apparently to a shooting range quite often. You need to train them to be able to shoot a killer amidst school children. I guess you'd need to train them. I mean, when would they have time to even learn how to be a teacher? It's just absurd. This is fantastical. It's crazy. I mean, we had some very well-trained. That mom, Nancy Lanza, was very well-trained with her guns, wasn't she? And she ended up being the first victim from those. So in this instance, in fact, Louie Gohmert is absolutely wrong. This mass killing started exactly in a place where there was someone who is very trained and very comfortable with guns. And her name was Nancy Lanza. And obviously, she couldn't prevent this. This is like the functional equivalent of like, hey, why don't we put tripwires in the schools? So if you show up and you haven't been invited, boom. Ridiculous.
These are the same people who think teachers are greedy and get paid too much to begin with, and now they think they should friggin' be putting their lives on the line.
Ridiculous. Well, they obviously already are.